A lot of changes happen during the second half of life. Join Kash Mahmood, owner of Varco Hospice and Home Health, and his guest as they explore topics to help you navigate the second half of your life. And now, here's Kash.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Second Half of Life with me, Kash Mahmood. Our very special guests today are Urvashi and Kathy with Affectionate Care. Today, we will be talking about dementia and activities and why they matter. Morning, Urvashi and Kathy. How are you doing today?
Morning. We're doing great. Thank you for having us.
Excellent. How about we take a few seconds and just let you introduce yourself to our viewers? What do you do? How did you get into this industry? What drives you? And then let's dive right into the topic of the day. Maybe, Urvashi, we start with you.
Okay, absolutely. Sure. Yes. Well, I have been a pharmacist for 17 years and more, and I've worked in several settings, community and hospitals with various levels of care and a number of different healthcare providers. And working with different types of medical settings and in different backgrounds, what I realized that I was lacking was that personal connection with the patients and the residents. And so I started seeking opportunities where I felt like I can utilize the knowledge and the career and skills that I've gained in a more meaningful way. And I can actually feel more passionate about my job. So that was one of the turning points I had in my career that led me down the path of senior living and caring for the elderly. And also, I have a very personal connection as well, because both of our parents, my mother on my side and my husband's father, both had a need at one point in time for senior healthcare services. They were both in the independent setting, and my mother had a health scare a few years ago, and I was not educated about it. I didn't know very much. I started doing some research, learning more about what the difference is between independent living, assisted living, nursing home, skilled care, where she would fit in, what if she needed more help. It was overwhelming. It was difficult because I hadn't planned on that earlier on. And so, I studied it for several years. And then eventually my husband's father had been diagnosed with dementia. So he needed advanced care as well. And I could see the toll that that was taking on my mother-in-law. Currently, all of our parents do live with us and they help us out in the business. So they're part of the organization. It keeps them active and engaged. But we also know that this is a place for them as they age and they get older, because we didn't have the resources or the knowledge before we looked into this business to do this. So those are some of the reasons I got into assisted living and memory care. It was definitely something that I felt like I needed to do for my career change, for more meaningful purposes, and also for my own parents as well.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. What about you, Kathy?
Well, I've always had a love of geriatrics and older people. My grandmother and great-grandmother lived next door to us. So I spent a lot of time with them and their friends. Later on, I wanted to become a nurse since I was a young girl. So I did. And I've worked many years in geriatrics. I've worked in surgery. I've worked in skilled. And I have found that later on in life, my mom developed Alzheimer's, and I was not prepared for that. I don't think kids are used to seeing their parents become the child. And she even referred to me as her mother when my mom gets home. And it became harder and harder for me to function in the world, and going to work and worrying about her at home. So I did have caregivers and got that knowledge, but it's a very difficult thing, and that's how my passion developed in helping the families as well as those. How to treat someone that is so different from the way they were when they were functioning. And it's just love, passion, kindness, and patience. Lots of patience.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to hear this. For us, the folks that are in the industry, It's refreshing to hear, when it's a calling, that's what drives, the actions that we take. So excellent. So quick question for you, Urvashi.
Yes.
I know activity is a big part of your community. Can you tell me why you think it is so important?
Absolutely. And, as I mentioned when I did the introduction, I have been specializing with drug therapy and medication therapy for the last 17 years. And I've seen what the positive aspects of that are and the negative aspects, such as the side effects and the drug interactions. And what I started noticing, even in my own personal life, and I started applying it with my parents as they got older, was how dramatic the effect of activities on daily living and engaging with them had on their health status. And so for us, it's really a game changer. And in some cases, I find it just as effective and even more effective than even some of the medications that are out there. And so what we find is that it helps our residents from just not only a health benefit, but also a mental health benefit as well, physical and mental, both aspects. And so it can help with chronic diseases and illnesses, such as reducing blood pressure, reducing diabetes, helping to manage that, also cholesterol. It can help to strengthen bones and build muscle, which will help to prevent falls and improve stability. That's usually a huge aspect of when our residents come to us, the increased risk of falls, the things that we can help to prevent and improve just by getting them up, physically moving, more active. And we could customize and change that in so many different ways. Also, the mental aspect, it's stimulating, it can improve memory. It can decrease anxiety, depression. It can help with sleep. There are just so many aspects of what activities can bring to our residents, and also from a social standpoint, because we are in a group setting. So they have exposure to other residents. They can interact and socialize, and that prevents isolation and depression as well. So the benefits are numerous, and so many studies have proven that. I have a chance to see that real life, hands-on at our assisted living, and compare it to what it does with the medication use. And in certain cases, we can utilize that to decrease the amount of medications that we're using, or minimize the side effects, or even prevent the use of certain medications, because we can use different various forms of activities almost as therapy in itself.
That's very interesting. Kathy, a question for you. What types of activities do you recommend for someone with mid-stage dementia? Maybe you could give us a couple of examples.
Well, each of our residents come with their own complications, and they're each individuals. We don't treat them as one big group, because what one may enjoy, another cannot comprehend what we're doing, and vice versa. So we try to keep them individualized, and on admission, we thoroughly interview the loved ones bringing them in to find out what they like to do when they were young, what was important to them. Some of the routines that make them and bring them such joy are as simple as folding laundry. We've got one that folds laundry over and over. She loves it. If we don't have it out there ready for her, she will ask. And it's just wonderful to see. I told her, I said, oh my goodness, the perfect way you fold yours, I'm going to have to bring mine in for you to do. And she said, bring it all in. And it just gives me joy to see someone do that. Someone else may want to learn something. Someone else has the talent of artistic ability. We do have an artist among us, but she no longer wants to paint. She also will get involved in the folding, but there's puzzles, there's certain movies, there's yoga that they all seem to enjoy at any stage where they're at. So we try to develop that on a personal routine with them.
And
Wow.
also, Cash, what we have found that's also been a game changer, music therapy is really amazing, because what we found with studies and just seeing it in our own residents, music affects almost every part of the brain. So even the residents that have diminished speech, they can't speak or express themselves, we can get them to sing along. We can get their coordinated. We do drumming exercises with beats and tones and rhythms. And, even though there are times that they can't do certain other parts of the activities that we're doing when it comes to the music, they usually respond very well. We see them getting very stimulated. So we'll do senior karaoke, try to pick special songs from their past that they like to listen to. We get that information from their family. We develop things like memory boxes, pictures and photos, and we do reminiscing exercises. Those are also really important to keep them stimulated and keep that cognitive function going. But music therapy is definitely a game changer. So we're big fans of that. And as
Wow.
Kathy mentioned, we have various things. It just depends, because even though most of our residents do have some form of dementia, they're all at different stages and different levels. So we do have to customize how we do our activities. We try to incorporate more of a Montessori concept, which means we may have everybody in the same room, but they may be doing different things in different ways. So we meet them at their level where they're at, and try to incorporate a variety of different activities for them.
Wow, that's very effective and very interesting. So, quick question for maybe both of you. How do you handle a resident who does not want to participate in the activities or any activity for that matter? Or do you have
Well,
that scenario?
we actually encourage everyone.
So yeah.
Cash,
Did we lose Urvashi? Sounds like we
I
did.
think so. We actually encourage everyone to do the activities. And the way we do that is we don't just go by their room or ask them, do you want to join in? We include them, because very often I've heard the residents not want to, especially if they're new. They may hang back or be a bit shy and not be engaged. But we like to see each one, because, as I've heard Vashi say so many times, laughter is infectious. And when they see the others having good time, eventually they want to get in and join, or you'll see the music on. And even those that didn't want to get involved, you'll see them swaying or tapping their foot or clapping their hands, or they begin the drumming when we have the drum out there for them. It's really wonderful to watch.
Hmm, nice.
Yes, and also, Cash, what we incorporate is we spend a lot of time helping to train and develop our care team. And we let them know whether or not some of the residents want to participate, we all participate as a team together. So even the caregivers are there singing, dancing, doing various types of exercises with the residents. Because I always tell Kathy, I feel like energy is contagious. What we give out, we get back.
Mhm.
And so we try to live it ourselves at Affectionate. We try to demonstrate it's not just something we do for the residents, it benefits all of us. Because a lot of these activities, they are uplifting, they're motivating, they're inspiring. And so we do it as a team. And like Kathy says, sometimes they're walking by, we encourage them to just come and look. You don't have to participate right now if you're not comfortable. You can choose to do something different. We have activities they can do by themselves if they don't want to participate in a group. Some may just want to do gardening. They may just be interested in things like pet therapy, more individualized type of activities. But we do have quite a bit of success with the group activities because we all join in and do it together. And so when they hear the joy, the fun, energy, the laughter, before you know it, they're trying to come out, be more a part of it, participate. So it's been a wonderful experience seeing that.
That's great. Do you feel that residents with different levels of dementia should be kept together or separated? And if so, why?
So in our setting, what we do typically is we do not separate our residents because our home is open to all. They have the ability to interact and talk and communicate with each other. The way we've seen it is I feel like even when they cannot express themselves, when they're treated differently or they're isolated and separated from the group, they know that that's something different. They know that they're being restricted or changed. So the entire home is set up for memory care and dementia residents. So they have the ability to go anywhere they want in the home. We have the ability to safely monitor and track every resident where they are, what's happening, what's going on. So we know from a safety standpoint, we're not concerned that we have to lock them into a certain area and monitor them differently than the rest. But what we find is the residents that are higher functioning, the residents that have lower functioning benefit from being around those other residents that are higher functioning. And oftentimes, what's amazing is our more advanced residents, the ones that are more independent, they take quite a bit of pride and joy caring for the other residents that need help and assistance. So their sense of contribution, helping, doing something for someone else and feeling good about it, it makes them feel that sense of purpose. Because they were also parents taking care of their own kids and raising a family and having to now watch their kids go off and live their own lives and being in a setting where sometimes they can't provide that anymore. It's a little difficult. So we really try to find ways to make sure that they feel they still have that purpose and value and meaning, and working with each other and helping the other residents. And even we do have some shared companion rooms where they have roommates and they can make friends and they can spend time together. I've seen that bring just as much joy to the residents as it does even to us. And it's a really wonderful thing to see that in effect.
So from your experience, what types of activities have the most significant impact on your residents?
Definitely, I would say a lot that has to do with music and memories and reminiscing. I do believe physical exercise as well has a huge impact, because when you change your physical state, it can also change your mental state. So I've had quite a few residents that have said, I don't think I have the energy. I don't think I want to come out there. I'm not in the mood, for if it's chair dancing or yoga or strength training to do it. And, we'll just say, well, you don't have to. You could just come and participate. And what's funny is halfway through it, they start moving a leg, start moving an arm, they start smiling, they start getting into it slowly. And at the end, most of the times they're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I'm so glad I did that. So, like so many of us, going to the gym or working out or exercising, you're not always motivated to do it. But if you have a group of people that can do that with you or motivate you, inspire you, push you along a little bit, when you're done, you almost feel great that you did that, because our bodies are made for movement. And so physical exercises, and I would say music therapy is huge. Socialization with each other, being able to connect and have conversations is also a huge part of it. So in a private setting, for those that have a private caregiver, they have great care, but they may not have that ability to connect and socialize and engage with others. So I would say that aspect as well. In that group setting, it really becomes much more exciting and appealing to want to do things together as a group.
Mm-hmm. Your community is mid-sized, not as many residents as the large assisted living facilities, but obviously more than 16 allowed in an assisted living. What do you feel is the biggest advantage for having a mid-sized assisted living facility?
Absolutely. Kathy, would you want to?
Sure. We feel the size we're at allows for a more intimate setting, a more one-on-one, a more resident focus. And we work harder at developing our caregivers and everyone to focus on the resident. And as Vashi mentioned earlier, to incorporate the caregivers with the residents, so the residents can not only see the caregiver as a helper, but having fun with them and seeing them laugh. That makes a big difference in their lives, I think, and in the connection. And that's a very important part. With some of the bigger communities, people seem to get lost and they don't know each other as well because there are so many. If someone doesn't come to activities for a day or two, they may not be missed. Here, we're looking for each resident and able to include them and do more personalized things with them. We can have closer parties. We can have them all in one area and their families too.
You know, honestly, it sounds like at Affectionate Care, the biggest advantage that y'all have is just that family atmosphere, that family environment that you guys are creating for your residents. I know, Kathy, we missed you there for a little bit in the show with technical difficulties. Is there anything else you would like to add for our viewers today related to Affectionate Care?
Well, I would like to say there is information out there available for people because I wasn't prepared when my mother had Alzheimer's. I had never had to entertain her. She always took care of her own entertainment. And I can see, and the families tell us what a difference it makes when their loved one has come here and we include them in activities. Some of them came to us and they weren't speaking or they weren't moving. They were in bed all the time when the family would visit. And now they're talking. There's some anger that was with the residents when they were at home because all the loved one did was tell them what they could or couldn't do. And they don't understand that difference. They just saw it as you've got to do this, you've got to do that. So our place tries to make the visits when they come about joy and love and connection with their loved ones. We become that person that tells them, here's what we want you to do, here's what we're involved in. And it has been a benefit for both the family and the residents that are here. I can't say enough wonderful things about Vashi's vision and what she had and us bringing it to life. As a nurse, I've worked in many facilities. This is the only place I've ever seen that love delivered. I mean, other places may talk about it. We deliver it. And that when a facility can do that, I think no matter whether it's us or another one, they've got a thumbs up from me.
Excellent. And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I've known Urvashi for a while, and yes, you know, she is extremely passionate about what she does, and it shows. Urvashi, where are you guys located physically, so our audience know, and how do they get in touch with you?
Yes, we are located in Richmond, Texas, 25155 Fulshire Gaston Road, Richmond, Texas at 77406. That's our address. So we are sort of central. We're in between Katy, Sugarland area. We're not far from the Houston area as well. So we have people coming to us from all of those different areas as well. But yes, and we're newly built. We've just been open about 5 or 6 months, and we are really proud of what we've been able to build and create. I have a wonderful team. I have to say we do call ourselves a family. We say we are in it together. And I think one of the reasons we are able to see the results we've seen is Kathy and I are very passionate about leading by example. The same things we ask of our team, we're out there willing to do it with them. You know, we are there doing the activities. We are out there caring for the residents. There is no job or task that's beyond or greater or above anyone. And we also spend a lot of time developing and mentoring our team, trying to connect them to things that they're passionate about, that they love. So we have a lot of inspiration, motivation, gratitude, spiritual exercises we bring. Because if we don't feed ourselves mentally, spiritually, physically, all of that, how are we going to be able to give it to others? So we do believe in growing and developing together so that when we leave the workplace, we can feel good about what we've done and who we are. And that's what I wanted for myself as far as my next step in my career. And this has been a dream come true. It's intense that I have ever done. And I know Kathy has been by my side supporting me from the beginning of the project to now. So she's been tremendous in as far as being a rock for me as well.
Well, I have really enjoyed having you guys on the show. This has been extremely informative for our viewers. Thank you so much, Urvashi and Kathy, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.